Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to the show, only on Mondays, and I'm coming at you guys on Tuesday, so very fitting for our podcast as per usual. So today it's going to be just me, and I'm going to be talking about a few subjects. So the podcast is going to go a little bit in a few different ways. So once I get back with Lynn, we're going to do basically kind of like an intro to our ideas, and we definitely want to get you guys' viewpoints on this. Obviously we want to grow an audience like we were saying, and we want to talk to a broad range of people and reach a broad range of people so we can exchange ideas and just kind of, all get to know each other and just learn to coexist as I feel like we have been doing forever, until just very recently. So today should be me, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about a few political topics tonight. So that's kind of my area of expertise or passion, I guess you could say. I'm really big into the politics aspect, current events. Lynn and I, our thing's going to kind of be more of, philosophical topics, and we'll kind of get into a little bit of the politics and current events. And I think it should be really interesting, guys. So I really look forward to finally getting some feedback from everyone. Appreciate all of the, I think we had like 10 listeners in our last podcast. Not to brag or anything, but 10 holistic viewers. No, seriously though, I appreciate anyone who listened, and I definitely hope to grow this channel and continue growing Lynn and I together. We're going to be bringing all kind of new and exciting stuff, growing and showing, doing it all. So let me know what you guys think. Please comment and subscribe, give this video a like, and I would so appreciate it. So as you can see from the screen, guys, this is kind of giving you a little glimpse into what I'll be discussing today. See three very different men here on the screen. Let's do a fuck, marry, kill with these three. Okay, that's an interesting one. All right, this will be pretty golden. So obviously, we can see who one of them definitely is, the unmasked Vladimir Putin. We'll get into him. So we'll get into it. Don't worry, guys. I'll let you guys know my opinion. I want to know yours for sure. Anybody who wants to share. And then we have the soy boy masked wiener, dictator Trudeau there on screen, and I will definitely get into his little. We'll get into him. Don't worry, he makes me sick. And then back there, I don't know if anyone recognizes this lovely, beautiful, and brave person, but we'll also get into this story about a transgender person and his sick crimes and what he's got going on out there in California. Shocking, I know. Sick people in California doing weird, sick shit. Who would have thought that? So, pretty crazy stuff here, guys. Groundbreaking. So let's get into it, and we'll kind of read some stories with you guys, and I'm going to share what I think, and I would love some feedback on what you guys think, and we'll get started. So, here we go. Alright, y'all, so we got the first story. Again, as I was saying, very lovely and bold and brave, beautiful biological man here, 26. This is coming from the Daily Wire, by the way, this article. So, biological man, 26, who molested girl, is to be housed with females in juvenile detention after identifying as a woman. So, I think we can all see this person on the screen, okay? And I think we can all see this is a man. And I think that's pretty obvious. Like, this is really just sick. This is a disgusting person who is doing a thing to try to find ways around the system to be even more disgusting. So let's get into the actual bones of the story. Okay. A biological man who now claims to identify as a woman was sentenced this week to 2 years, guys, 2 years in a juvenile detention center where he'll reportedly be housed with females. And his crime, molesting a 10-year-old girl in a woman's bathroom. Okay, so apparently he was a juvenile delinquent whenever he raped a young girl. So that justifies putting him as a full-grown adult into a young female prison. Okay, got it. So let's continue on, see if we can get some clarity on this. So Hannah Tubbs, okay, formerly James Tubbs. Wow, isn't she lovely? Pleaded guilty to molesting this girl in a women's bathroom 8 years ago when Tubbs was 2 weeks from turning 18. So he was already a grown man. He was a grown man that, I mean, isn't 18 like, don't you go to regular people jail when you're 18 when you commit crimes? Like, am I crazy? Like, how is that a thing? How is that even a thing? This was a full grown man and he was molesting a young girl, 10-year-old girl. Okay, so continuing on with the story, if I can, without getting sick. Fox News reported Thursday it was only after Tubbs was taken into custody that he began identifying as a woman, prosecutor said, which, mind you, 8 years later. 8 years later, he was living in his manhood, whatever disgusting small manhood he has, and then when he gets arrested after 8 years, that's when he starts identifying as a woman. Yeah, makes sense. Okay. So, notably, continuing with the story, Tubbs wasn't connected to the case until 2019. Tubbs will be housed at females in juvenile detention facility for molesting female child, reported senior editor for Fox News Digital, Peter Hassan. Tubbs began identifying as female after being taken into custody. DA refused to try as adult. In LA County, juvenile facilities can house both females and males, but in separate areas. Tubbs will be housed with the females, a Fox News report elaborated. Tubbs went into the female restroom at a Denny's restaurant in 2014, grabbed a 10-year-old girl by the throat, locked her in a stall, and molested her until another person walked into the bathroom, reports say. Far left District Attorney douchebag George Gascon decided to try Tubbs as a minor, and Tubbs was sentenced to the maximum available sentence of 2 years. Tubbs is 26 years old, said Los Angeles County Deputy District Attorney John Hatami. Unlike George Gascon's false narrative, she is not a kid. And using the word she, let's get it together, okay? You're supposedly speaking out against what this freak Gascon, I don't even care about his name, and you're gonna entertain the she is not a kid. Okay, John Tommy, you can go too. But how ridiculous is this guy? I mean, like, George Gascon has earned a name just like Alan Briggs and just like Chesa Bodine, all those three fucking losers. I'm sorry, and excuse the language, but they are just utter. I mean, they're playing a huge hand in tearing apart this country in a fundamental and truly awe-inspiring way. I mean, they are the ones who are letting the criminals terrorize the streets. Okay, guys, like, these woke DAs who were funded by George Soros are ruining the country. Like, a very, very huge part of doing substantial harm to us as individuals in the long and the short term. I mean, really, these people should be in Guantanamo, okay? But yeah, let's call her a she. So, continuing with this article, there was evidence presented at the juvenile proceedings which showed that Tubbs sexually assaulted 2 young girls in different incidents in the past. Hatami said, the child victims will suffer lifelong trauma. Tubbs also has prior violent convictions and conduct as an adult. Because of George Gascon's blanket policy against transferring any juvenile to adult court, even if the 17-year-old rapes or murders an innocent child, James Tubbs will not have to register as a sex offender either, and will not spend any time in county jail or state prison. Will be 26 and housed with juveniles for a very short period of time and will be released with no probation or parole monitoring. The victims will get no justice. The public will get no safety. It is an injustice against all of us, especially the young victims, Hatami added. Judge Mario Barrera blasted Gascon too, but ultimately said his hands were tied and could not direct Tubbs to be housed in county jail. See, why not? That makes no sense to me. the district attorney does the charging, I thought, and the judge does the sentencing. Or do I have, explain that to me. This whole, whatever California is doing out there, you guys lost the fucking, I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep it, this makes me so mad. Y'all lost the plot. Like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Everyone out there is far gone, okay? Even the people who are speaking out about this, the language is all wrong. I mean, there's got to be more that can be done. And I understand that Gascon's being challenged right now and might be recalled, which California would be crazy not to recall him. But I've lost a lot of faith, you know, in that state. I mean, you guys, the fact that California did not recall Gavin Newsom is insane to me. I mean, that was the perfect chance for California to make a turn towards the better. And it didn't happen, so I don't know. I mean, I really hope this guy can be recalled because he is devastating the city of Los Angeles to a point where I don't know if it will ever return. I will pray, though, it will. So let's finish up the article, guys. So the judge, okay, Barrera, said, I want to be clear. The filing of a transfer motion is entirely within the discretion of the district attorney. This person should have never been charged in juvenile court. I'm sorry. You're 18 years old and you're raping a 10-year-old. You're an adult. You'll be charged as such. This guy seems like a Gascon. Is he a child predator? Does he love this? Like, let me finish. I'm sorry. I get a little heated, but let me finish this article real quick. Okay. According to Fox News, Tubbs was only linked to the case of the assault on the 10-year-old in 2019 when Tubbs' DNA was entered into a database for another arrest. Charges were filed against Tubbs in 2020. Tubbs has previously been arrested for battery, drug possession, and probation violations in Idaho and Washington, the report noted. He was also accused of sexually assaulting a minor in Kern County, California, though he was never prosecuted. So isn't that great? Recurring child sex offender, but it's a she, right? This person, as we're calling, okay. Yeah, so what do you guys think about this story? I mean, I'm pretty disgusted by it. I mean, it kind of goes with what we've been seeing in our culture and the sickness that is American culture right now. But this is obviously a person taking advantage of a narrative that has become all too familiar, and I think that we need to put an end to it. I mean, for the most part, I mean, I understand there's people who are actually transgender and who actually suffer with that disorder, but then we have people like this crawling out of the woodworks who take advantage in order to victimize and play out their sick fantasies or their sick ideas. So I think that's more of a danger to society, guys. I'm sorry, than a trans person not feeling accepted. Okay, get over it. There's therapy. Let's get over it. We cannot be harming these kids for life because these sick freaks come out and try to use it to their behest. Okay, so that is the first story. This guy is depraved, and I feel like him and Gascon should be locked in the they should really be locked in a cell together. It's what they deserve. It's what they need. Okay, I don't see any other way out. So I think that's the way it should be. And let me know what you guys think. What is the punishment for this crime? What should it really have been? I say Gascon and these guys should just be locked together in Guantanamo Bay, where they can, diddle each other's whatevers, whatever they want to do. But tell me what you guys think. Please leave a comment about this story, and let me know. And I'll interact if I see anybody commenting about it. So we'll move on to our next sick freak, and that is this little masked loser, Justin Trudeau. Wow. He has really become a force within my life lately, guys. I mean, I can't even tell y'all like how much we have really grown to know each other over the past few weeks. Ever since the Trucker Convoy started, I have been really obsessed with the story because I love the truckers. Full-on trucker support, 100%. I support the movement for freedom. I support you guys' right to protest, your human rights. Love it. This little douche canoe, this little masked Fidel Castro son, supposedly having no balls and a black face paint on his face, he makes me sick, okay? I never thought I would see the day that Canada has a dictatorship, and he's brought it to these people, and it's really incredible to see in this day and age. So this story, guys, is from Reuters, or Routers? I don't even know how to say it. I think it's Reuters, actually. Yes. So Canada's Parliament approves Trudeau emergency powers. Is there more to that title? No, I guess that's it. Okay, so yeah, this is from Reuters. So let me know, have you guys heard about this? This story has been buried. Okay, buried in the media. I don't understand what is the issue? Why? I mean, I do understand. Let me not be naive, but I think it's disgusting. I think that the fact that this isn't out into the media yet, really into the mainstream, despite the mainstream media's efforts to not cover it, it says something, because this is a pretty huge story, and not a lot of people I know are familiar with it at all. So definitely let me know down below, have you guys heard anything about this? So we'll get into the article here. Ottawa, February 21st, which was yesterday. Or I'm sorry, yes, it was yesterday, because it's technically Wednesday, but it's really Tuesday night. So anywho, so Canada's Parliament on Monday backed Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's decision to invoke rarely used emergency powers to end pandemic-related protests that have blocked streets in the capital Ottawa for more than 3 weeks. Based, love it. You guys hold your ground. Trudeau doesn't care about anything. They're gonna freeze your accounts anyways. So y'all hold the line. We love to see it. We love you. We're supporting you. We're enjoying. Okay, we love it, guys. So, but we don't love Justin Trudeau. We want to punch him. The Emergencies Act, continuing, we're talking about the Emergencies Act. Okay, this is from Reuters once again. The Emergencies Act was approved in Parliament by 185 to 151, with the minority Liberal government getting support from left-leaning New Democrats. All those guys can get bent, okay? The 185, you guys all suck. I hope you're all voted out expeditiously, okay? So, continuing with this article, the special measures announced by Trudeau a week ago, which were supposed to be only temporary, and were supposed to only last 1 week, okay? So, the article continues, have been deemed unnecessary and an abuse of power by some opposition politicians, just not enough for it to make a difference for you guys not to infringe on your citizens, I see. So that's cool. And the article continues. Over the weekend, Canadian police restored normalcy in Ottawa. Normalcy is gay. Sorry, that's my words, not the article. Continuing, the protesters initially wanted an end to cross-border COVID-19 vaccine mandates for truck drivers, but the occupation turned into a broader demonstration against Trudeau and his government. Protesters blocked the busiest land crossing between Canada and the United States for 6 days. Snarling trade. Epically based. Love to see it. Love to see it. We love you guys. Thank y'all. I mean, just the fact that this did not bring it into the mandates so clearly tells you guys what's really going on with this scamdemic or whatever it is. And it's just, they have really showed their cards here with this one. I mean, all these truckers wanted was to not be forced vaccinated, and most of them already had been. To be fair, most of them had voluntarily already taken the vaccine. They just are tired of being, treated like children by their government. And you guys should be tired of it too. Why do you want to control people so badly? Why does that little mangina, Justin Trudeau, want to assert his disgusting, weird dominance on Canadians who who are just innocent and nice, wholesome people who just want to honk a damn horn. I mean, it's really gross, if you ask me. So, just to finish this article, the act grants authorities broader powers. Police spent 2 days clearing protesters from the downtown Ottawa, making 191 arrests and towing 79 vehicles by the time the operation ended on Sunday. Don't you guys feel cool? Don't you policemen feel just so good about that? Wow, and arresting people in the name of freedom. We hate to see it. Trudeau also called for people to work together, saying, "We don't know when this pandemic is going to end. Here's a clue, it's over, idiot." Again, my words. Continuing. But that doesn't mean we cannot start healing as a nation. Some members of the official opposition Conservative Party accused Trudeau of abusing his powers. Legislator Dean Allison decried what he called authoritarian military-style measures against the protesters. Duh. Green Party member Mike Morris, who voted against the motion, said invoking the act was an inappropriate response to a failure in policy. Duh. As many other parliamentarians have shared, the use of the Emergencies Act sets a worrying precedent for future protests, he said. Yeah, you think. It's good. It's a good bet. So that's that for Reuters article on the latest in the dictator Trudeau's regime that he has decided to so ungraciously and disgustingly bestow upon his people who did nothing wrong, who did not ask for this, who just want to be able to live as people that they are without your thumb, your disgusting weird thumb on their necks. So, you know, I just hate to see it, and I hate to see him being in any kind of power over people. He doesn't deserve it, and he needs to be voted out like yesterday. So, I mean, I stand with Canadians no matter what. I think that they have been truly steamrolled with this whole thing and not even listened to in the slightest. And I don't think that that's democracy. I don't think that that's right. That's not human rights. That's not freedom. So it's pretty atrocious to see. So if you guys, y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole story. Have you guys even heard about this story? I really hope that it's reached a broader audience. Although, like I said, I talk all day about this story. I love the truckers movement. It's one of the greatest things I've seen in all my life. So, and not many people know about this. So let me know what you guys think, and have you heard, and where have you heard it from? So we'll move on to the last story. And we're getting just a little bit better. I think, in the fuck, marry, kill scheme, we might marry this last guy. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird dynamic, guys, for me to even say this. But we might marry the last guy. Or maybe fuck. I don't know. Which one's better? Who knows? Anyways, so moving on. Not important. We're going to move on to Putin and Russia. So I'm sure you guys have heard about this. This has definitely been covered all over everywhere. But this is the latest on the fake war that Biden is concocting all by himself. And he's stirring up all by himself. Truly sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. When he can barely find his own asshole and a diaper to cover it with. So I don't see how he has the time to go and poke around in Russia and Ukraine's business. But somehow he does it, guys. Somehow he does it. It's the only thing he's living for at this point. He'd be dead other than that. He's decrepit. Biden's an idiot. He has stoked this into a fury because he wants a war to distract from all of his failures as not only a person, but as a former vice president and someone who is currently sitting in a stolen seat of presidency. So we'll go through this article and then we'll discuss a little bit. So this is from The Guardian. Is Russia invading Ukraine, and what will happen next? Putin has sent soldiers on a peacekeeping mission, but is likely to threaten Ukraine with a broader war. So I'm curious, what do you guys know about this? Can y'all give me a brief summary? Because I'm not huge, hugely knowledgeable on foreign policy. It does interest me, this whole situation, because in my opinion, I think we need to stay the hell out of it. I don't think we should ever be going to fight for Ukraine. I think NATO should be disbanded. I mean, that's a ridiculous thing anyways. But I just think that all countries need to go and look within, guys. We need to spend time on ourselves. U.S., we need to really, let's work on us, okay? It's like a bad breakup has happened. We've been toxic for a while. We just need to go inwards, not meet anyone new. Let's work on ourselves. Let's get back to us, okay? Because we're getting to a point where we're all over the map, and the map is trash. So, continuing with the article here, it says, what has Vladimir Putin ordered? The Russian president has recognized the independence of 2 Russian-controlled territories in East Ukraine. They call themselves the Donetsk, I think, and the Luhansk People's Republic. The territories have been armed, financed, and politically controlled by Russia since 2014, which is a long time ago. I didn't even know this, but yeah, so they've been controlled since then. I mean, they're just like, what are we doing? What are we fighting about? What is going on? Okay, but until this week, continuing with the article, Russia still recognized them as part of Ukraine. Because I think the reason why is because there was never a threat. I mean, Ukraine was just kind of, I think the way that Putin looks at it is that, like, it's kind of like the United States, but within Europe. So there's a bunch of these different little smaller states that used to belong to the Soviet Union, which was a force for bad, but Russia's changed a lot since then, and I think he looks at those as Russian territories, but they're independent of themselves. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know, I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that's just kind of like my general gist of it, is that, like, but now that Biden's over there poking around, lost, like, he should be fixing our border and doing all the other countless things that he has fucked up to the teeth and cannot even begin to count any sort of victories within our nation. He wants to go and create World War III in Ukraine and Russia. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, sure. So, we'll continue with this article. Try to get to this one quickly. Excuse me. Putin has also sent his military on a peacekeeping... Wait, I'm sorry. Yes. So, this is meaning that Russia will formally occupy sovereign Ukrainian territory for a second time following the 2014 annexation of Crimea. But in this case, Russia has not annexed the territories. A document signed by Putin on Monday also allows him to establish military bases or place missiles in the territories. So what is wrong with this? I'm very confused. Okay, so I guess this map is showing that they've split these regions into 2, and part of it is Russian controlled and the other part is Ukrainian controlled. So it seems like they're kind of getting it together, like on their own. Seems like they're drawing lines, they're doing border things. I mean, I feel like they got it. I don't know. Let's maybe try to, like, see if we can guide Joe to, like, a nearest ice cream cone or something, or off the nearest cliff, whichever is closest. I'm not sure. So, we'll continue with this article. Why is he targeting Ukraine? So it says, first, Putin has indicated that he questions Ukraine's right to statehood, calling modern Ukraine an artificial construct of the Soviet Union. He also sees Russians and Ukrainians as one people. Second, he thinks that a Western-leaning Ukraine is dangerous for Russia. He has called the possibility of NATO membership for Ukraine a red line for the Kremlin. Third, he wants to show that popular revolutions, such as the one that took place in Kiev in 2014, do not succeed in the long run. That helps to prop up his own rule in Russia. Okay, so what might happen next? The decision marks the end of the Minsk peace deal, a troubled roadmap out of the conflict that would have left territories in Ukraine. That deal also contained a ceasefire agreement, which is now also void. More than 14,000 people have died in the fighting that has occurred since 2014. So it sounds an awful lot to me like this war has been going on since 2014 then? Again, what are we doing? What is America doing? Can we please sit down? Can we please sit down somewhere? You know, I mean, my goodness sakes. What are we doing? There's been a war already. They got this. What? 8 years. Okay. Continuing. Russia's military is likely to make a formal entrance into the territory soon, which I think he already has. Its troops and military vehicles have secretly taken part in the fighting since 2014, but this deployment will probably be much larger. Moscow will now threaten Ukraine with a broader war if it continues to fight against the separatists. Excuse me, had to get a little drinky drink. Telling Kiev that Russia is now obliged by treaty to defend them from attack. Russia could also justify a further invasion of Ukraine by recognizing the territorial claims of the two separatist governments. They include the large city of Mariupol, which is on the other side of the front lines. If Russia recognizes their expanded borders, it may order its troops to begin an offensive against the Ukrainian army. That could be a prelude to a broader conflict. Russia has gathered up to 190 troops along the Ukrainian border and is positioned to launch an attack that could threaten the capital, Kiev, and sweep across much of the country. An offensive of that size has not been seen in Europe since the Second World War. Dun dun dun! So they got some little dots here on the map. Yeah, okay, great. So these are all the units that are outside of Ukraine, and as we can see, Crimea is down here, which already belongs to Russia, which is down here. I mean, Russia's everywhere. Russia's like humongous. And then it just all seems like all these areas are like, adjacent to Russia. I just don't see the problem here, y'all. I mean, we hate to see it, a big country coming in and taking a smaller country that doesn't want to be taken. But my goodness, they're not an ally of ours traditionally. And we have there's nothing in place for us that says we have to defend Ukraine and send our citizens over there to die fighting Russian soldiers when we have our own problems. We have problems to the north of us, to the south of us, and all around us, okay? We need to fix us, not Ukraine. Just because Joe Biden has been funneling illegal money from Ukraine for decades, that don't interest me. That doesn't concern me. And quite frankly, I hope the Ukrainians would really, just nullify that debt and just, end the relationships and the ties with your family because of how gross you all are, the Bidens. Okay, so I don't see the point in this conflict, y'all, and especially American troops being in. I mean, I definitely don't see that. So we'll read this very last couple paragraphs here. So, what will the West do? Western countries have condemned the threat and are likely to impose sanctions on Moscow this week, but the severity of the punishment will be up for debate, and they have made clear that they will not send combat troops to Ukraine. The U.S. had promised the mother of all sanctions, probably targeting Russia's banking and financial sectors, if Russia invaded Ukraine. But that imagined a blitzkrieg-style ground campaign that could take big cities like Kiev and Kharkiv. The recognition of the territories and occupation by Russian forces is also an act of aggression, but it is not the nightmare scenario. As diplomats met in Brussels on Tuesday, it remained unclear whether Putin's order to send troops into Ukraine would be the trigger for the massive sanctions the EU, basically the same thing, the EU has been threatening for weeks. How do gas supplies affect the crisis? And this is where it gets interesting for all of us. On Tuesday, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, stopped the certification process for the Nordstrom 2 gas pipeline in response to Russia's recognition of the two self-proclaimed republics. First announced in 2015, the $11 billion pipeline, owned by Russia's state-backed energy giant Gazprom, has been built to carry gas from western Siberia to Lubmin in Germany's northeast, doubling the existing capacity of the Nord Stream 1 pipeline and keeping 26 million German homes warm at an affordable price. Well, isn't that a beautiful agreement? Too bad Germany's about to basically cut their own citizens off at the knees by not allowing Russia to continue supplying them oil. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty cold winter for Germans, and we hate to see that. We really do. I mean, what Putin has the upper hand? It would appear to me, from what I'm seeing, he has the upper hand in almost every situation. He's making you guys, the West, and I say you guys, because listen, the regimes of the West are to blame for this. You know, we the people, we need to do something, but we ain't responsible for this, okay? This is a hot mess. So, the last couple paragraphs here kind of just break down the energy aspect of it. So, Europe's most divisive energy project, Nordstrom 2, bypasses the traditional gas transit nation of Ukraine by running along the bed of the Baltic Sea. It has faced resistance within the European Union and from the United States as well as Ukraine, because they're not getting a piece of the pie, I guess. Okay. So continuing, on the grounds that it increases Europe's energy dependence on Russia, denies Ukraine transit fees, and makes it more vulnerable to Russian invasion. So Russia's known what they're doing. They've been playing Vladimir Putin's been playing this for a long time. He's playing the long game since 2014, guys. Let's just be real. So continuing and finishing this article, as 2022 begins, there's a new year resolution we'd like you to consider. Tens of millions have placed their trust in the guardians. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, okay, you know what? I'm done.